It's
Good evening, Austin, Texas.
how we doing, folks? Michael Cargill, good to have you here.
Woo woo.
Dr. Evelyn Roberts, is that right?
Robertson, it's a pleasure to be here.
Robertson, and Christopher, of course, he's back with us. Equifax, I guess it's been a week or two now since they announced, and then they tell me that it was months ago. Was that it actually happened? Their breach?
And that's typical. Usually they wait until the last minute before they let the people know that something bad has happened. So
I thought that on finances they would do this quickly.
no, you'd be surprised.
It worries me so much because what little I have, I'm always checking my bank account because I'm thinking it's going to be empty one of these days because I use my card down at the gas station. And I know that Dr. Evelyn here has her company, what's it called, Antifa 24?
It's Affinity 24.
Affinity
You were close.
24, close.
Affinity 24, but we're
What
very
is
concerned with
what is
fraud.
Affinity?
Well, Affinity 24 is a independent sales organization,
Okay.
and we focus on helping merchants, specifically small to medium-sized merchants, ensure that they have a secure point-of-sale system, basically, and also we help them grow their business. So many of the new point-of-sale systems are very sophisticated, high-tech, computerized, and there are many things that will aid the small business owner through the system.
So how?
Sorry, go ahead. You guys have a reward program in your system, right?
There are many different rewards programs, and I'm pleased to say that there are several
Are we talking like
app
bounties if you
developers.
catch somebody? Or
No, there are several app developers that develop rewards-based apps for the system that I support, and that's the Clover system. And so the merchant has a number of different options, depending upon the type of rewards program
It's
they
good for
want.
small business.
It's very, very good. It helps expand their business.
But is it expensive?
It is not expensive. Many of the rewards programs are charge, pennies per person or per customer that's involved, per card. It just depends. There are different types, and it's up to the merchant to decide which one they want. But one thing that is really neat is with Affinity 24, we help the merchant. I mean, we stand there with them as a consultant because many of the small businesses can't afford the consultants like, Walmart or Target or
Right.
any of those. So we help them.
So what? So a merchant has their own POS, point of sale system. Then what do you guys do? How do you connect to that?
We bring in a point of sale system.
Okay. So you bring in your own point of sale
Yes,
system.
we do.
Okay.
We bring in our own point of sale system
So they can't use
and
their
the
own.
processing. Yes, so we handle both ends and the security as well. We partner with a number of really outstanding companies, and for security, for the hardware, for the software, and for liability waivers to protect the merchant
do
as
we
well.
plug any of these companies like McAfee or? That's the only one I know. Oh, we can't talk about companies like that?
Okay.
Okay.
So what are the companies that help make this system secure and safe?
Yeah, there you
The
go.
names?
Yeah, the name of the actual companies
Yeah.
that help Affinity, secure the the system.
Right. Okay, so we have a number of different partners.
Okay.
And our hardware partner is First Data.
Okay.
First Data is the largest.
So First Data, they're the ones that you use for credit card processing.
That's correct. And
Okay.
First Data also owns Clover, and Clover is the hardware that we
Which is
leverage.
the system that you swipe the card with and all that stuff.
Yeah, swipe,
Okay.
insert. We want to say insert these days because the chip card is
Correct.
very important because it's encrypted and tokenized.
Okay.
It's that system. So we want to make sure that merchants have the proper hardware to be able to accept the chip cards from their customers.
Okay.
That's the critical piece because this goes back a little bit, but October 2015 is when the liability shift took place. And prior to that, if there was fraud committed, upon a merchant or their card or the customer, they were not liable for it. But as of October 2015, the merchant is now liable for any of the fraud that occurs if they do not have the proper hardware to accept the chip cards from their customers.
Now what I'm
I don't have the proper software to play with, so I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you so much,
I
Chris.
tried, but it kept telling me I had to download a program, and they wanted my credit card number for a free trial, and I never do that.
Thank you.
I don't give them my credit card.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and then what I'm noticing is that some of your gas stations don't have this new technology that went into effect in October of 2015. So some of your gas stations, when I go to the gas station, I still, it doesn't look like it has the chip technology.
Right. I think that gas stations, they were allowed to install their deadlines were pushed back a little bit, I
Oh,
think,
really?
to 2017, 2018 timeframe.
Ah, okay.
So they had a
And
bit
that's
of
why there's a
time.
lot of fraud at gas stations, because it's easy. It's
Absolutely.
easy. That's why now, because you say you.
We've had probably 24 skimmers just recently in the last month or two.
Yes,
In
sir.
Austin,
Here in
all
Austin.
over town.
Right.
So this
Even
is
a
what
bank.
happens when everyone else has to follow the policy, but then our gas stations, the ones that actually can afford it, they're not made to
True.
to actually follow the policy.
So
And
the-
but you let until the smaller merchant like myself, we had to do this. If we didn't do it, then we would be liable for any
That's right.
any
For any fraud.
fraud.
Yep. And not only that, I mean, the liabilities go way beyond that. And I wanted to just give a shout out to TransArmor, which is the security company that that helps our merchants. Let me just give you a couple of.
You
give you a
about
couple
lost
of
me in a
pointers.
lot of things. I'm only about halfway familiar with the language alone. Wow.
Well,
You
It's a
put your
new
card
world.
in the script. I go to the
Because
restaurant,
that's what you
I
have
run
right
my
here, right?
card,
Can we see it?
and you're saying the company doesn't.
All right, so this is your cash register.
Okay.
that's a new
So this
point
is-
of
I'm at
sale
the restaurant.
system.
Point of sale. You
Yeah.
can call it a POS.
She brings
you
it
can
to
call
my table.
You can call it a cash register, whatever you want to call it. So
Yeah, let's turn it on.
you know,
So this is state-of-the-art. This is a Clover mobile, which means it can
can
move
bring it to my
around.
table.
You can bring
can
it to your table.
you can hold
do
it.
line
Great for
busting.
servers.
scan it. There we go. Scan whatever you need to
Wow,
scan.
you're
Wow.
familiar with it. You can
You're
barcode,
familiar
there's
with
a
that, huh?
barcode scanner.
Right.
And that's also for taking pictures and other things. It's, let's turn it on. Let's see.
There you go.
Okay.
I don't know how we can turn this around.
So
for the camera to
basically,
see it.
this,
Okay.
this particular device and all of the Clover devices are able to accept a chip card. So on this particular device, you would insert the chip right here.
Okay.
If the card did not have a chip, you swipe it across here. And then if, let's say, the millennials come and purchase something and they want to tap their card and use near-field communications, they just tap the
I've seen
the
that
device.
happen before on the bus.
Yeah,
Right.
Does it do wallet?
their phone, exactly right. That's
Now,
right.
are you guys going to get into cryptocurrency at all with your point of sale system?
I haven't heard that. I don't think there are any plans at this point, but I'm not sure. I'm not on that side of the development.
Okay.
So it's, I have no idea on that one.
Well, hopefully you can send a little message to them, let them know, hey, let me get into cryptocurrency, because that's the way of the future. A lot of people, actually a lot of people have a lot of cryptocurrency. They have a lot of Bitcoin, and they're now starting to spin that because they got into this back in 2013, and now they have all this money that's actually Bitcoin, and they're wanting to spin it. So, but hey,
Can I ask a question?
but we'll talk about cryptocurrency later.
About the POS?
Yes.
There's a lot of merchants that are either not big enough or they love their POS system.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do machines that are independent, or does it have to be with that POS system that just accept cards?
Like
So if a
independent
merchant-
terminals?
Yeah, just a credit card machine.
Yes, absolutely.
'Cause so
Instead of
many
the
these companies-
full-blown,
Yeah, I liked what you
Yep.
said, that you guys help them, because I was 30 years in the restaurant business. They'll send you a new credit card machine, and you're on your own. You
And
gotta
that's the
figure out how to
difference.
set it up.
Yeah.
You gotta figure out what's going on. When it goes down,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta figure out why, because you're out of business.
well, fortunately, we have 24/7, 365 technology support to
That's a
help
big deal now.
So in case your system, if anything happens, yeah, you're able to call for help. And then as well, you have local reps right out here, like myself, to help. And so we're here in Austin, to help the Austin merchants.
Yeah. Well, I just say a lot of people have a cash register, what they like.
Yeah.
But they might want they might want a machine like this with your support,
Right.
just to run their
Not
credit
to
card.
be rude
Separate,
here.
it's separate.
All right, now
Oh, absolutely. And we can help them with that.
I want to
Not
be
to be
I want to
rude
be
here.
I want to be devil's advocate just a little bit.
Please.
Okay, because all right, you say that you guys help with security. So if we have the chip technology, which helps with security, what are you guys providing outside of what the chip is already doing?
The chip, as I mentioned earlier, the chip provides encryption, security, as well as tokenization.
Okay,
And
that's what the chip is doing.
that's what the chip is doing.
Okay.
And so, and it's very unlikely, but should there be a case where there is fraud anyway, then we provide the liability waivers, because for small to medium-sized merchants, they can be fined up to $50,000, and their total cost of remediating a breach could be upwards of $90,000 and more. So we have liability waivers of $100,000. And if the merchant has more than one location, we'll go up to 5 locations, so that'll be $500,000 in liability waivers, which means we would pay the cost of those fines for the merchant.
When you say liability,
Excuse me.
a lot of old liability used to be if you didn't check their ID, things like that. Where is y'all's, when you're talking liability here, if they took the chip, and what would be the fraud that anybody would be liable for?
If the merchant has the equipment to take the chip, and a chip card is presented, it's very unlikely that there'd be any fraud in that type of transaction.
Oh,
If the
Unless it was a
merchant,
stolen card.
true.
I hate to stop us here just for a
Is it
minute.
covered with that?
Hold on here just for a minute. I didn't mean to text all that, but I did want to do this new Marco Polo thing for one of my boys is in Korea, and so hello, Kelly.
Korea, all right. So
Yes, sir. He'll probably see this later on tonight because
don't go down to Itaewon. Stay out of Itaewon. I know back when I was stationed in Korea, we
that
went
did
down to Itaewon, and I don't know if that's a thing nowadays. So
it's been a while since you were down there.
it's
huh?
been a while.
You're stationed in Korea.
I was stationed in Korea. We actually partied in Itaewon quite a bit.
How long were you there?
Wow.
I was there for a little over a year, and so I had a great time. I lived in an apartment outside of Yongsan, the main base there. I lived in an apartment on a little hill. I can't think of the name of that little town, but I had a nice little apartment, little 2-bedroom apartment. It was awesome.
I think he stays in a lot, but we got this program and turned him on to it. And I got a message this morning with big smiles because he likes actually seeing us.
Nice.
So that's
Seeing his
our
kids
guest.
and all.
Oh, that's
Evelyn.
nice. Hello. Yes, Evelyn.
Evelyn.
Yes.
And that is Christopher.
Chris,
Chris Hoerster. Hoerster.
There you
Excuse
go.
me, the O is silent. Hoerster.
Yes, ma'am.
But anyways, they're talking about internet security tonight, and I guess you know a lot about that.
Internet
but-
finance security.
Yeah, well,
Crypto coin, whatever.
And we're going to touch on
Korea-
cryptocurrency just a little bit, some Bitcoin.
and
Yes,
Korea's a
yeah,
hot
so-
place right now. I mean,
Wow.
that's a
Enjoy this later on tonight, and have a good one, and we all love you.
stay,
Yeah.
stay safe.
Stay safe.
We're gonna try to stay safe. Don't get crazy, man.
If
You know,
anything,
the WTF situation to his north doesn't WTF anymore.
well, you know what happens? Just head south.
Yeah.
You'll be
yeah,
okay, just
yeah,
head south.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
Head south to Osan. Come sum me down.
bye.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't mean to.
Liability.
So liability. So because okay, so the chip goes in, and then the only problem I see, is if someone steals your card. They would have to actually steal your card, or unless you key the number in, and they take the technology that way.
Well, if
So
the
it-
card is stolen, that's the individual customer's card that's stolen.
And it's not gonna be
I'm
the
sure
merchant's
they're-
fault.
That's not the merchant's fault. That's
So what
no.
if you
They'd-
key the information in, then that could be the merchant's fault. If you
Well-
key the information in and it's a stolen card.
That's a different case.
That's a
a
different
different
case?
case.
So-
So,
still
so I'm
gets a
trying to figure
charge
out.
back.
I'm trying to figure out
So
in what
for
situations
instance-
would be the merchant's fault.
Okay, the only time that it's the merchant's fault is if they do not have the upgraded technology to be able to accept the chip cards from their customers.
Okay.
If a chip card is presented to a customer that does not have the technology to accept it, and they swipe it, and fraud occurs,
Okay.
then the merchant is 100% liable for 100% of the fraud.
So if I have this, well, if I have the new device, then there's no liability to me then.
Right.
So what I need the security stuff for?
Just in case.
I'm
always
devil's
good to-
advocate. I'm devil's advocate. I'm a
Yeah,
small business owner.
yeah,
and
yeah,
and
you
I'm
will.
just, just process this
I
information.
mean, you'd want to have a secure system.
Right.
So all of that would be embedded in the new systems that we have
Okay.
in the Clover systems.
All right. All right. And then, okay, so you guys, you do this, which is awesome. I love this.
Thank you.
It's a nice device, nice and small and portable.
amazing.
And then it can scan the barcodes, so that way if you use UPC codes,
Yep.
you can put that in there. Is there a way to, if I have a system now, I use, say, the VIN system. I don't know if you heard of that. VND. I use another system. Is there a way for me to go from my system to your system and transfer the information over? Will I have to key everything
Is
in?
it compatible, you
from
mean, or?
When you
Yeah.
say key it in, you mean what type of business is it?
So all of we're a gun store, for one.
Okay, so you have inventory.
Right, so we have inventory.
It would be very easy to convert all that inventory over to a new system.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, how do you do that?
So I'm sure each gun or rifle, et cetera, has a barcode on it,
Correct,
right?
a UPC
And so you
code.
just use the barcode scanner.
So we have to actually scan everything, do an inventory.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that
okay,
happens
so I
very
can't
quickly.
so I can't transfer it over like on a spreadsheet or something.
Yes, you can. You can do that as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and the Clover tech team will help with that.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How in the hell you figure out how to do all this stuff?
I like that it inserts from the top. I've seen a lot of merchants, they insert from the bottom.
Right.
Right.
And they're not, they're breaking. You have to hold your
I'm
card.
still
up
having
in there.
trouble with thumb drive.
Yeah.
You gotta get a lot more elementary for me
I had
here.
one question when I was reading. If they have a chip card, you have the machine, and the chip doesn't work, you can swipe it. Do you still have the liability? Because the machine will say chip not reading, or,
If
things happen, just like with the stripe on the back. Things get
so
in the
so
card.
for instance, the device is broken
Not the
and
device, maybe, but maybe it's something wrong with the chip in the card. Just the chip won't work.
so
It will then allow you to swipe.
It will then
It will allow you to swipe,
So is there
but
a
let's-
liability?
that's kind of a fine line. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I mean, if there's some defect in the chip itself,
Yeah.
which I have not heard of one
The
case where there
machine
has
defaults. If chip doesn't work, it defaults to swipe. Some
been. Yeah,
of them do.
and let's hope that that's not a compromised card.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Ken.
so this is a chip card, and so it does go right down in here. So and then again, if this doesn't have a barcode on it, and eventually the cards will not have barcodes on it. We're gonna go from chip to not, 100% chip, no barcode.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, that's as easy as it is, and if it happens
No password or nothing like,
to turn the system on for the merchant, there is, yes.
okay.
And then
I mean, back to the security part about somebody steals your card. My wife uses mine all the time. They never ask her
For ID?
for ID.
Nobody does anymore.
Actually,
really.
somebody did
It's good.
one time.
Well,
They
Yeah,
should be
I thought-
checking. They should be checking the signature on the back, and many times, do you sign? You sign her name. It's her card. and you
No,
sign-
she
I
just
shouldn't be
signs
asking that.
everything.
yeah. Now, a lot of
40
tell it.
years, it's like she knows all the numbers.
Now, do you guys actually allow gun
Come here, Mo.
stores to actually use your product? Firearm?
Oh yes.
You're not politically incorrect or nothing like that, are you?
We do accept gun stores.
Okay.
Yep.
You talked about mobile, do you have a system like, let's say pizza delivery? Or places where maybe you go to a gun show, or maybe you go to somewhere where you don't have your POS system there?
That's a
So
great
does
question.
this carry with you?
Yes, for instance, okay, so yes, this is a mobile. You could take the mobile with you.
Okay.
Or you could take another system, which is, we just call it the Go, because it goes everywhere. It's a small device that snaps down on your phone, your tablet,
PayPal has them, other companies, yeah. I've seen-
and it's completely.
And it's an
and
app
it
on your
accepts-
phone.
Yeah, you pull down an app on your phone.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it is compatible with the chip cards.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's
Because
very
some of the other
important. Thank you.
PayPal, some of those have now, they always had to plug in into your speaker and then you swipe the card. I didn't know if the chip was caught up with that yet, where you could chip a card.
Ours is,
Normally.
ours is.
So that's good, because
yeah.
then that's extra security if you're
Yeah.
on the go.
Exactly
somewhere.
right. So
Now
the
let-
Clover Go, in fact, there are a lot of, this is the land of 1,000 food trucks out here.
Yeah.
So,
Especially, food trucks, yeah.
right, and so we have quite a few food trucks that we support that do process with us.
All right, so let's talk about some of the breaches, because a lot of companies, we're having problems now. There are a lot of fake emails out there. They try to get into your system. So if your system has access to the internet and you pull up web pages, you pull up email, then you're subjecting your system to fraud by someone, sending a program to you or an email that you click on, and it can, compromise your system. So how are you, so
Well,
what kind of frauds are you seeing out there?
encourage merchants to not allow employees to, quote, play on the system.
Okay.
Good luck.
That's not what it's for.
Right.
And
To access the internet?
Right, yeah, none of that. I mean, this does go through the internet. It's 3G, it's got Ethernet capability and Wi-Fi. But there are PIN codes that employees have to put in to be able to use this system.
Right.
And they're only able to use certain portions of the system. So if they were the owner or the administrator or the manager, I mean, there are different levels that will be attributed to a certain employee, and so that they'd only have access to certain areas inside of the software.
Yeah, I think I would have it air gapped. Is that what they would call it, where it's not part of, check your email here, but do this here? Separate computer for that.
So what kind of breaches are you seeing out there?
Well, I just pulled up, just before I came out here, a number of breaches that have happened recently, and this is in the wiki system. There were 244 breaches, major breaches, and Equifax was at the top of the list, having just happened. But all kinds of breaches, you might say, from, I mean, not on this system, so I'm not speaking about this system.
Right.
I'm just talking about.
Just fraud in general
Fraud in
that a
general.
small business or a medium business would actually experience.
So fraud in general, I mean, there's all kinds of malware that could be frauded. I mean, malware causes problems, and they come in through the web, they come in through email, like you mentioned. About 75% of organizations have inbound email, and 75% of the email that comes inbound is spam, and of that, 10% of that has malware in it, connected with it. So that type of malicious software is something that the organization would have to scrub, not us, but the company would have to scrub out. And then malware comes in through the internet, comes in through apps, cloud-based apps, comes in through the web. It does unfortunately come in through point-of-sale systems. It just depends. Those are very few and far between cases. So
A really big thing is email, because a lot of people are they're clicking on those little attachments and things like that, and they don't
One.
realize.
It says open.
You've won a car.
Yeah, they're very tricky nowadays. I actually had someone call us up. Every suite in our building where we're located, they actually called us up at about 6 o'clock in the evening, and it said that your electric bill is late, and we're getting ready to turn your electricity off. We need you to make a payment right now. And they did it to everyone in our suite.
Right.
And so, everyone panicked, and then they started going next door, checking with other people. And I said, "Hey, I got that call too. Hey, I got that call too." And I said, "Well, has anyone just checked their bill to see if their bill's actually late?" And
So
then
they just went through the phone book or some directory
Yeah.
and.
right,
Don't say nothing, Ma.
yeah. So that
Always fall in. Hey, Ma, they did it.
yeah, that happens a lot, because if you call them up and you get them your card information, and boom, your stuff is gone.
Don't
'Cause
open any
that's what they
email
want.
that you don't know who
Right.
exactly it's from.
Yeah.
That's the only.
yeah, and those fraudsters make a great deal of money if they get the card number.
He told me. See, I told you.
The card
I
number.
fall for that one.
Do you?
Oh, he,
They called up and they're about to turn off your internet. Yes.
and he fell for one of the ones on email. So they hijacked the email account. Oh, we are stuck in Thailand. You need to
Oh, I didn't follow. It was one similar to that.
Yeah, yeah. You know those email ones that they used to get you with the send $5,000? And we had people that actually believed that we were stuck in Thailand.
Wow.
Well, that's right. They told him that I left her in Thailand.
And it was ridiculous.
But they all knew that wasn't right because I'd have done that on purpose, you know.
Yeah, Top City, send us money.
That's right. That's been years ago.
Oh, hey, I'll be right back. I gotta go check something real quick.
Well, we're on autopilot. Well, if we can
And
get
then
that.
You have some stuff that's like that happens like overseas, like what she's talking about.
Not overseas. I don't have any stats on overseas, but
Coming in
just know
from
that-
overseas.
Coming in from overseas, I mean, but in the U.S., unfortunately, I mean,
We get
if you
plenty of
add up
hackers
the
right here.
fraud from everywhere throughout the entire globe, you add all that up, we have more fraud in the United States than the world combined, unfortunately.
Wow.
There's a lot of money in fraud. It's terrible. But just, for instance, the value for a stolen credit card, ranges from $2 to $30, depending upon how much information comes along with that card. So if a card is stolen and the fraudster gets the card number,
Right.
Can I look at that?
then they get $2.
Oh,
They
wow.
get $2. I mean, it's not, it doesn't seem like much, but
Can't you buy numbers on the dark web, whatever
Yeah,
they
you
call
can.
it, where you can
That's
go in
where
there
they
and
put
they
it.
sell you a whole list of,
that's where they put it.
a whole list?
That's where they put it. And if along with the card, you get the card number, you get the expiration date, CVV code,
Oh, wow.
address, all
Oh,
of
wow.
that,
That's all
then
you
it's
need.
worth about $30. And so, you can see from that initial, investment, paying $2 up to $30.
Even $30 would have all that on it.
A fraudster can make up to maybe $580 in gross.
Because what we see it is, I'll get people that will actually purchase something on our website, and they're from out of state or somewhere like that, and they want us to ship it to them. That's actually pretty common during the holidays. So someone go to the website and they'll buy like a scope, or they'll buy. I've actually had a dumb person actually buy a firearm, which was actually dumb because he thought that we could actually ship the gun to him to his house in New York City. So we actually, we tried to call this
Did you pay for
person, and it was like a language problem, so they didn't really understand English that well. At least they pretend they didn't. So then we went ahead and we shipped it to the gun store that was close to them, because that's what you do. You ship it to a gun store. So, because I said, well, if it's a firearm, we'll ship it to the gun store. Worst case scenario, they're not going to be able to go in the gun store to get it. They'll have to ship it back to us.
Right.
So we shipped it to the gun store. The gun store then contacts the person. The person then realizes that they don't have a card in New York where you can purchase a firearm, because you got to have a special card to purchase a firearm in New York City. So they didn't have that, and the gun store owner's going back and forth with this guy, and he's like, you know what? That card's got to be stolen. I said, yeah, I agree with you. It's got to be a stolen card. So then we eventually got a call from the credit card company, to reinforce the fact that, yeah, that card was stolen. They were using to try to purchase a firearm with. So that's rare that actually happened, but it does happen that way.
Well, it was a few years ago, they arrested a guy in Buda. He had a travel trailer, and he had a machine to make cards in that travel trailer.
Oh,
He
wow.
he was going around and he could make a card.
Pull into my
I
trailer
guess
park.
He was doing Wi-Fi, trolling through neighborhoods, getting
Yeah.
people didn't have secure Wi-Fi, and he could make a card in that trailer.
Wow.
That was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. They make the
All
card, they
off the
sell the
Wi-Fi.
card.
Yeah. No wonder you can't find no unsecured Wi-Fi no
Oh,
more.
man, you got to have it secured.
Is this the actual size of the chip?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And you can put all that information, your social security number, everything on there, huh?
There's a lot of information on there, but again, once it goes through into the system, it's immediately encrypted. And then it's sent across in
Well,
an encrypted manner.
I'm thinking
and
if they
then-
can use scanners for the swipe card, how long before they just start lifting the encrypted information and
Well, I have no doubt that hackers are probably trying to break that, but they haven't broken it yet. And that technology has been in place in Europe for about 14 years. Canada, Europe, Australia, Mexico has had it, and it's dropped their fraud rates by 70%.
come here and say something. Oh. Would you take?
And then, so what are some of the other things that you guys have issues with?
Well, I was just going to say that, again, we have a big heart for small to medium-sized merchants, and that's what makes up most of the business in the United States of America. We want to make sure that they're protected, that they're safe, secure, and that they're able to grow their business. And, so that's why they definitely need their systems to be locked down and secured.
You know, the telephone, they got these things, you can swipe your card right on your telephone. Plug it in telephone, I've seen for some businesses. Is there any way you can just pick up on the signal that the phone sends out? Right? I mean, it's like not wiretapping, but what am I trying to tap into the, you can just listen to
The
it.
data would still be encrypted.
It would?
Right.
Yeah. The machine probably encrypts it, or the app, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And
I'm way out of my,
And then the tokenization is the unencrypting of it, but it's only with whoever has the key or the token to be able to do that, and that's on the other end of the transmission. So that's why it's very secure, and it's frustrating a lot of fraudsters good, and, it's a better way
now.
to do it, yeah. So let's
And see,
hope that it's never,
And see, a lot of people are
Compromise.
using like cryptocurrency, so as a better way or a different way of doing things. So I know that's one thing they're doing. So
How would you-
in cryptocurrency, what that is, that's like the easiest way to I can give you the textbook explanation. Okay, the textbook explanation says cryptocurrency is a digital asset designed to work as a medium exchange using cryptography, thank you, to secure the transaction and to control the creation of additional units of the currency. Cryptocurrencies are classified as a subset of digital currencies and are also classified as a subset of alternative currencies and virtual currencies. And then Bitcoin became the first decentralized cryptocurrency in 2009. So basically, it's like, think of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. Think of Bitcoin as another currency from another country. So I take Bitcoin, which is a currency somewhere else, and I'm gonna use Bitcoin, and I will sell my Bitcoin to get cash.
you can't put it in your pocket.
So
Like a can of foreign
well, just
currency.
think of any other currency.
All
So,
right, think of,
so instead of putting it in your pocket, instead of printing it out. So
Yeah.
let's say the U.S. did not print out the dollar. Instead, we went from printing out money, we just went to just a credit card, which a lot of people use nowadays.
Yes.
So you take that credit card and you use that. you
direct
swipe
deposit,
it,
just,
or or do whatever to send your money to another device or something
there's
like
checks
that.
as
Okay.
well.
Or checks, exactly.
I've got Bitcoin, I'm at the restaurant, and they set this in front of me, and what I do?
Okay. So when you have cryptocurrency or Bitcoin,
Can it
so
be put
it's-
on one of them cards?
So let's say it's on your phone. It's a program on your phone, and you
Okay.
have so much cryptocurrency, and I want to pay for something at a particular outlet. So I need to pay, not even a whole Bitcoin. I can pay a partial Bitcoin, like 0.0023 Bitcoin for something. Well, then what I'll do is I can put in that amount in my account, and then what they will do is show me then their barcode where to send the money, so to send the Bitcoin. So then I can hold it up and then hit send and send that 0.002 or whatever it is
Straight
to
into
that-
her machine.
straight into that machine, and pay for my product or whatever I want.
How many places take Bitcoin in just Austin? I mean, do you know?
There are a lot of places around the country that accept Bitcoin. We're the first place to actually be able to do it, with firearms transactions. And we actually have a Bitcoin ATM machine actually in our lobby. So, a lot of people are actually starting to do it, and this started, way back in 2009. Back when we got into it in 2013, Bitcoin actually was about one Bitcoin was worth $200. One Bitcoin, $200. Now, one Bitcoin is actually worth almost $4,000. So if you got into it back in 2013,
Doing
you
all right
had
now.
one Bitcoin, you're doing, you had,
So-
10 Bitcoin or
so-
20 Bitcoin, you're doing pretty good right
So
now.
let me ask you, people are interested in getting into Bitcoin, maybe cryptocurrency, but they see that one Bitcoin is $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
What's the smallest increment they can purchase to build up,
A tenth of a
to
Bitcoin?
get started? Like
Anything.
a savings account for a quarter.
You can buy $1, you can buy $5, you can buy $20 worth. $20 in cash
Okay.
worth. It's not going to be one Bitcoin.
It's not one Bitcoin.
It's going to be
but
like
you build to that, so you can build
0.000
to it.
whatever.
Okay, see, I think that's where a lot of people are scared from Bitcoin right now because it's like, oh, $4,000 for a dollar. You know,
Yeah.
they don't understand you can start small.
Right.
You don't
So-
have to start with one Bitcoin. You can start
And
with
just,
a
think of it like
percentage.
going to an exchange. You're going to an exchange, you're changing, cash into something else is all you're doing. So
And
you're
your ATM does.
and the ATM will do that. So
Does
you
that
can
right
actually
there.
you can go to the ATM and you can purchase $20 in cash worth of Bitcoin.
Well, I know
so
when
the-
it started out, I couldn't, I was still in my truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't use it, so I didn't buy any. They wouldn't, no diesel fuel.
Well, everybody laughed at it for so long. And
Right. A lot of
now
people didn't
it's
take
like,
it.
wow.
I had attorneys on Facebook and
don't
everywhere
need it.
telling me that I was actually going to wind up in jail because we were using Bitcoin. Yeah. So and I send them a message now. Look at where it is now.
me?
So do you have to set up an account, like a bank account?
Yes, you do set up an
I haven't
account.
looked
So
at
like you set up an account through like some other some company like Coinbase. You have
Okay.
Coinbase, you have blockchain. You can set up an account there and you can start
Okay.
Okay, Mom.
buying Bitcoin or trading Bitcoin or selling or whatever.
Besides CHL classes, you need to start having Bitcoin classes.
I know. and we you can walk into the store and you can use Bitcoin to purchase a class. You can use it to do anything really. And what's funny about cryptocurrency is what's sad actually is that a lot of your companies will not allow you to purchase a firearm using cryptocurrency, which I think is kind of weird because buying a gun, that's the one thing that actually is you actually get a federal background check to get. And we get a lot of information. The whole purpose behind cryptocurrency is because people want it to be a secret. They didn't want anyone to know what they were doing, and they also want to be their own bank.
Yeah.
They want to control all the different fees and stuff like that. So the only fee that you have to pay would be the fee to transfer that to sell it. That transaction fee. Outside of that, you're controlling the rest of the fees. There are no fees.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people started using it. But then the bad side of it, there are companies that popped up that are like, so to speak, credit card companies, so to speak, which are like BitPay. BitPay is like a company where you can get a system, online system, and actually use their
Thank you,
system
Chris.
online and do a transaction and it's like a POS system or something like that for cryptocurrency. So, but they will not allow you to do that with firearms and firearm sales,
Yeah.
but for other things,
It's got to catch up with the.
which is kind of weird.
It'll catch up, I think.
And we're
But
working on it.
I think more people would get into it if they knew. You don't have to jump in and buy a whole coin at one time. You know, it just.
But a lot of people are in this, and right now, honestly, this year, when a lot of people were actually a little slow when it comes to gun sales, Bitcoin sales actually pulled us through.
Wow.
That brought us back up to like, wow, it's a great month now.
I
All
mean,
because of a couple of Bitcoin
Yeah,
transactions.
well, Bitcoin is the verb for the cryptocurrency, pretty much. I
Right.
mean, it's Bitcoin. I hear of others all the time, so
Yeah,
I'm
there are
interested to see
others.
Right.
if they're gonna. Because right now, I heard of one that's 0.006. It's really low, but I mean, Bitcoin's the leader. I mean, so it's probably the safe bet by now.
Oh, and these guys that have Bitcoin out, they have so much Bitcoin. They will make large orders like 10 grand in firearms.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Because
large
you're the
orders.
one that
and
can
we're
take
the
it.
only ones
That's a lot
that
of
can do
guns.
it.
In the U.S.
Only
Texas?
ones. Only ones.
In the U.S.
Only ones.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, because a lot of stores are not caught up with technology.
Yeah.
They're still doing fax machines.
Yeah.
It's very rare that someone uses a fax. Everyone, people do e-fax if you have to, or just scan it and email it.
Scan it.
Scan it and email, but they're still on fax machine. Hey, can you fax me that piece of paperwork, or So they're still
kind of a-
behind the times when it comes to technology.
Kind of a special concierge service for any business that can take Bitcoin because nobody else, like
Right.
you're the only firearm. I'm sure there's some other industries.
Is
Go
there-
buy a car.
Is this our future coming up? What do you think, Dr. Evelyn Robertson?
Well, I think the future belongs to IT. It's a
Yeah.
all of the various permutations you might say of technology. This is the future. This is now, and but there are some I think we have to be cautious of, like AI, and make sure that the machines don't take over, but I'm just joking. But,
All these different.
but I think technology can really help us. It can help us. I think if we use it correctly, and we always have to be aware of those that are going to come in and try to misuse it or use it for evil purposes.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
just like counterfeiters with money, there's always
Yep.
bad seeds that are gonna try to take advantage of something.
Well, the U.S. dollar has been the standard that the whole world measures by, and I think they still do. Barely, I guess, but nonetheless, if we all start switching to some kind of crypto coin, will that be the new standard to measure by? I'm wondering at some future date. Probably not in my lifetime, anyway, huh?
Well, there was a while back where it was expected that eventually we'd be a society that didn't
Cashless?
have any cash, and that has not happened, and that was predicted, 25 years ago or so. But people like to hold things. There was a time, too, where we were expected to be a paperless society, because of computers and all that. But people like documents. I mean, they like to hold their documents and know that they have it.
I understand that part.
So it's human nature. I think that's part of it that's in play. And so I think cash will be here for a while. I think coins will be here for a while, especially gold coins, platinum, et cetera. Those will be here for a while.
Well, those will always be here.
Yeah.
As long as
And-
you have your older generation and that's what they want. you
Right.
know. I think the younger generation is changing just a little because like when I travel, I would rather do something like some kind of cryptocurrency, mainly because law enforcement. Right now with asset forfeiture, where you have law enforcement, pull you over, you have X amount of dollars, you have cash.
Yeah,
on
they'll
you,
take it
They will
and-
confiscate your money, and they don't have
Good
to
luck
prove any
trying to
justification
prove it.
for it.
It's not-
Right. So, but with cryptocurrency, hey, go for it. I dare you. You're not getting it.
Yeah.
It's
I
it's
think-
it's encrypted. There's two or three different passwords. You're not going to get to my money at all, and I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not gonna put in all my different passwords and allow you to
open
take
the
my
phone. Yeah,
and
I know,
open my
that's a
phone.
new-
Let's
that's a new issue.
not just open my phone, but to get access to
Yeah.
where the money actually is, where the cryptocurrency is. So there's like three
And not-
passwords to get
and
to
not
it.
to be a tin hat, but the only drawback right now with the Bitcoin is if we lost our grid, the power grid, we couldn't get to the internet.
is correct.
That's the only drawback.
No electricity, then we're
No
done.
electricity,
Right.
we're done. That's where you have your
Until
your
it comes
coins.
back up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
until
and
it
that's
comes
when
back.
you're
It's not
done.
going to wipe it out.
Right.
I mean, like Puerto Rico. I mean,
That's true.
I do prepping.
The whole
things.
island is no
I-
electricity, no
yeah.
phone lines. They're down. They're dead.
I prep, but it's not for the end of the world. It's for Harvey.
Right.
Harvey was
Right.
coming for us. I went and filled up my gas cans before it came because what if I need to run my generator?
Right.
Luckily we didn't. But if you look at Puerto Rico and all those islands, they should, or Florida even, they should have,
And
not a
there's no
bad
co-
idea to stockpile.
Right. Now you're now
Right.
you're back to that hard cash.
Right.
Can't even use a credit card. You're back to okay. We need cash now. Or
Or-
gold. Or gold.
Oh, gold coins, gold and
Or a
silver.
mobile. Well, you've got Wi-Fi still. I mean, you could use a mobile
No, they were dead.
unit.
No Wi-Fi.
Not in, the only
Oh,
thing,
not
think-
in-
I think
there was
every-
one radio
yeah.
station in Puerto Rico, maybe an AM station. It was
Really?
bad.
Yeah,
That
they were.
had
It
it.
was, yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty dead.
Oh, that's
It's
Puerto
so
Rico.
bad. Yeah, Puerto
the
Rico.
hurricane.
I was thinking, yeah.
Harvey was back up
Harvey.
pretty quick, and I think Irma was back up, but Puerto Rico, I don't even know how they're going to get over Maria. They got to
Yeah.
retire that name.
This has been awfully interesting. I ain't sure I understood anything that was said on this. I am pretty I'm not tech savvy that much, but I do know there's certain things that if you can do them, you can always get a job like truck driving. But even now, there's getting to be high tech truck driving. I don't know if I could cash register.
What about driverless trucks? They're
Well, that's coming too, but
Yeah.
with cash register, I always tell
Well,
my
they're
boys
they're testing-
if you can run a cash register, you can get a job.
They're testing
How
those
easy is
vehicles
it to
now.
learn to run that cash register?
This is so easy. It's intuitive. You cannot crash it. You can play with it all day long. There are lots of apps in here to play with, and so James, help yourself. Push buttons away. I mean, you can learn it so easily, and with most of the apps that are on there, they come with a little bit of training. They'll come with a video.
Register.
Video
So-
training, that's
Yeah,
important.
and so it's really easy. It's easy to run. It's
That's
easy
fingernail,
to use.
finger.
And the other thing is you get lots of great reports, so you can run your business, understanding your sales for the day, for the week, for the month.
Austin is such an entrepreneurial city. People are starting little home-based businesses. I have products I put on Etsy. It's like you never know. If I want to set up a tent and sell my products, how
That's
do you,
right.
Nobody's
Well-
got cash. I don't carry cash much
Yeah.
anymore.
Right.
To tell you the
Gotta
truth,
take cards.
until I
Gotta
got
take
this up
cards.
my nose about 7, 8 years ago, I'd never even turned on a computer. I went right next door. Austin's got some neat stuff here in town for free, right next door. And I'm almost a computer whiz as long as you don't put too much up. I have a little trouble with transferring the thumb drive and then manage to get it off. But cash register, I never knew how to run one, but all my kids do. And I do know that if you can run a cash register, you can get your job.
Yeah. Do they, when they use your service, do you negotiate the credit card fees?
Yes, we do. And
is it-
I'm proud to say that our fees are some of the lowest that you can ever find. We just don't believe in abusing the merchant.
Customer.
And overcharging them and
Well, they can
that
eat
kind
your
of
lunch
stuff.
on a small business. I mean,
True, and so we don't. We keep the fees we keep them low. And I think a couple of other things that are real important about us is we don't have any contracts. So, I mean, there are some that, they lock you in for 2 or 3 years on a contract, but we believe if we do a good job, you'll stay with us. And so that's why we take the approach that we do and customize everything. It's kind of like a
I
like a
can't even
small
choose an employee.
concierge
Yeah.
boutique level.
well, that business
Service.
has lost its person-to-person service.
Well, we brought it
They
back.
just mail it to you.
Yeah.
You set up 20 stores, 20 restaurants for credit card acceptance. They just mail. You get a box in the mail. You open it up, and you got to. That's what our society's going further and further from that. It's nice to see it come back.
Yeah. So ours is all custom done, and we come out to the merchant's location, of course, and help the merchant set it up and do training. So we do it old school. We want to make sure that the merchant uses it and appreciates all the capabilities that are in that equipment.
That's another problem I had. Okay, real quick. If the machines go down,
I was just
people
gonna
don't know
talk
how to. You go to McDonald's, it's $8.92, and you give them a $10 bill. They don't know how to go $8.92.
Well, that's the
plus
education
8 cents
system.
makes-
You got to have
That's
some
the
kind of
education
you have to have
system.
some kind of
Yeah.
backup system because even in my place,
It's amazing
if
how many
everything
young
goes
people
down-
can't count
Can't
change
count
back.
change.
Right. You'd be surprised. People are so used to grabbing their phone and dialing the area code, the first 3 digits and the 7 numbers and the area code. So when it comes to if you have to use a landline, if everything goes out and you have to use that POTS line, plain old telephone line, you gotta if you want to dial a toll free, a long distance number, you have to put in 1, the area code and number. And they're so lost. This generation is so lost when it comes to that.
Well,
And I find it with my employees.
in restaurants, we built crash kits.
Well, that's
It's
pretty
a
neat.
plastic box. It was full of pens, paper, calculators.
Yes.
In case something crashed.
Yes.
You could keep operating. We just put it in a plastic box under the counter.
Yeah.
Crash kit.
Because if you
just in
don't,
case.
then you're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna lose money.
You're going to lose
so
money.
you got to have a
I
backup
can't take your
system.
money right now.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we had credit card slips,
Yes.
just whatever.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
emergency
I don't even know if you can
preparedness.
still get those anymore. The mechanical imprinters.
You can. You can
know.
get those still. Yeah.
Nice to have that as a backup.
Yeah.
Because even with
The
the
knuckle
background,
buster.
so even with the background check system, if we have to do a background check on someone, when it comes to the gun store, we type it in, to the system. I can use this device right here and run a FBI background check on you.
Yeah.
Well, if this goes out, electronics goes out, and I have to actually call the FBI and talk to a real person and relay that information, I make my employees do that at least once a month. I need to make sure they
Just so they
remember.
know how.
They know how and they remember how to do
That's
that.
good. That's
you know,
good.
because when something happens, I don't want them to sit there and panic. So you got to have a backup system when this stuff does go out. Because
We
that's
got
always a
about
possibility.
10 minutes left. Yeah, 10 minutes left. I know Ma want to come in about 5 minutes. Anything you want to say in a quick 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question totally off topic.
All right, go ahead.
I have heard stories and rumors that Mr. Cargill might consider running for mayor.
No,
I've heard that too.
no.
Heard it several times.
Not running for office at all, but I'm
No?
going to support anyone that runs
Okay.
against Mayor Adler.
Had to ask. I agree with you, but I heard it. I had to ask.
No, no, definitely not. Not running for office at all, but I'm definitely going to, support It's all about taking care of the people in this town. Right now, I don't like what's happening at city council. I don't like what, the direction that they're going. They're not taking care of people. I don't like the fact that, I had to look on Facebook and look at the mayor actually putting a little gift basket together, teaching, showing people how to put a gift basket together. Well, you know what? I grew up poor. You don't have to show me how to put a gift basket together. I remember having Spam one time for Thanksgiving. I know how to put some gift baskets together. But, he's rich and he has access to a lot of different things. He has a big, huge campaign fund. So if you wanted to help people, you can dig in deep and actually help. Or he's actually Jewish. So he actually can get the Jewish Community Center, which is a huge area over in Far West, and actually help the people who, the hurricane victims and stuff like that.
And his real estate connection.
Exactly. So, but those are things that they were not doing. Instead, they, pushed it off to the poor people to help the other
But he
people.
likes being a celebrity.
Right. So
He's
I-
tough.
He likes being in front of the camera.
He has got fallen in love with the camera.
And then
I
don't
think.
forget your Austin City Council member Jimmy Flanagan. They just found, just saw a picture of him on Twitter, showing his member.
No
so,
way.
Poor
Yes.
Jimmy. He
Oh
did
my
it before.
gosh.
Wearing a
Public
T-shirt.
official.
He was wearing a
Terrible.
T-shirt that said "The World's Greatest Dad." Austin City Councilman Jimmy Flanagan wearing a
See, that would
T-shirt, a T-shirt that said "The World's Greatest Dad" and showing his private parts. That goes to judgment.
Dr.
And if
Dr.
that was,
Robertson,
any,
He was a
and if that
public
was
figure.
anyone else other than a Democrat, then the
Oh,
Austin
you'd be
American
catching hell.
Statesman, the Chronicle would be talking about this, but
You'd
they're
never
not
heard the end
talking
of it.
about it because he's liked by so many people and he's a Democrat, so they're not discussing that, and I think that's very sad because that goes to judgment. That talks about well, what is his judgment as an Austin City Council member? I don't care if that was before he became City Council member or if it was during the time he was City Council member. That goes to your judgment. And that's very important. And that
Right.
goes to
And
your
it wasn't
character.
20, 30
That's a
years ago.
mindset.
Character.
What goes to your mind? You're wearing a T-shirt that says "The World's Greatest Dad," and you send a picture online
And it
of
wasn't
yourself.
20, 30 years ago. This was
Yeah.
2009.
Fairly recently.
Right.
And
2009.
the one I saw of him, he had a bunch of stuffed bears on his lap.
Well, what I saw was very
Stuff
small,
kids,
so it wasn't much to
stuff-
look at anyway. But that's beside the point.
Teddy bears or something. It's-
Well, like I said, I
He's like, "Oh my God!"
don't think our city
Back to
council.
credit cards.
yeah, hold on. I did want to ask Evelyn
Back
over
to
here.
the point of sale system.
Yeah, that's a hell of a point of sale there.
That's a POS right there. I'm telling you now.
Now you made me lose back.
That's what I do.
Yeah, I did Laura. You travel a lot between here and California. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Are you going to move in here permanent like? And we first met her at the MLK Association.
Oh, wow,
It was
nice.
a political event, part of the outreach effort by
At a,
Travis County
at a
Republican
barbecue
Party.
restaurant.
At a barbecue restaurant. Franklin's over there. We can see you at more of these kind of functions. You're going to become involved in our exciting local politics.
I'll be involved, absolutely, and I have moved here.
Nice.
And I do travel back and forth because I have business dealings still in other states.
I want to ask how affordable is this system? What's the cheapest system I can get?
Well,
'Cause
we
I'm-
can talk about that because it's all custom,
Is it?
and there are other
You
parts
can
that come with it.
fit
so
into their
the docking,
needs.
the charging station, the printers that come with it, and things like that. So
okay.
I need to kind of
And
customize
you're probably
it
not
for
going to be
you.
able to use what you already have. You have to get something new, most likely.
Let me take a look at what you have, and then I can let you know that.
Okay.
But
Ma?
I'd love to.
That'd be a big deal for a lot of companies.
Right.
that
You
wanna
already
do your
have,
thing?
they've
We have
got
5
an
minutes
investment.
left.
It's hard to, I'm sure it's hard for you.
Do I have to throw away my equipment that I have
Yeah.
now? Yeah.
Well, that's some money there, too.
So,
What she said in there?
She's
I don't know if
saying-
she wants
she
to come
said
out of that. Okay. Well, that's good because we do hope to see you involved like that.
Certainly.
There's,
another California transplant, right?
Yep.
but this one's on our
Don't hold
side.
it against me.
She's wearing red.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
my flag.
That's right. And her flag.
And her American flag.
That's
right.
So
She
you
didn't take
stand
a-
and salute to the
She
anthem.
did not
I
take a knee when the
absolutely
show
will
started.
stand. No
Yes.
knees here. No.
That's right.
None of that.
She will not bend a knee.
Not everybody.
No, I'm from a military family.
She's not gonna.
We respect authority,
Yes.
That's good.
and we
You-
love the flag in this country.
But I understand what they're doing. I do understand it. Even though that's something that I would not do. I stand for the American. I stand for the anthem. I believe in saluting. I believe in saluting the flag and all
Absolutely.
that. So
Okay.
that's me.
Well-
But I understand the protest and what it's
Yeah.
for.
It gets a little crazy nowadays, all right? It's getting really crazy out there.
It's crazy in the
All right, there's a story of a lady, a young black woman, went into a Hobby Lobby, and she saw a vase, a glass vase, with cotton sticks in it. You know, raw cotton stuck in there as a decoration.
It's the
Well,
bloom.
that was she considered to be racist, and in her quote, it made it seem like black slaves are picking the cotton nowadays, but that's not the case. But I did find this at work. You can't really see it. Let me get out the light. Let me get out the lights. Y'all can like this one.
Box of
It's a
cotton.
racist box. Do you see here? It's 100% cotton. Now, I got this box for a reason, because you're going to have to stop using cotton balls and Q-tips in your daily routine, because cotton balls and Q-tips are racist. Well, okay, folks.
Next
I'm
week.
going to start taking off
No, don't scare everybody away.
pants are 57% cotton. My shirt is 100% cotton.
I love cotton.
My
2 minutes,
undergarments,
2 minutes. And a half.
cotton.
And
So
humidity
if you don't
in Texas,
mind, I'm
you
gonna
That's
go
right.
to
You
the-
need cotton in Texas.
All right, 2 minutes left. I appreciate you coming on. Next week is cancer with the cancer awareness. What's your
Breast
name?
Cancer Resource Center.
Cancer Resource Center.
And look, I can wear my shoes. They're 100% rubber.
It's better than you throwing them at me all the time. She's got a Mexican blood in her or something. She's starting to want to hit me with them.
To remind people about the bonds.
The Bond Show, it will be on the October 9th. October 2nd, breast cancer awareness, or cancer awareness, with somebody from the cancer awareness. Huh?
It will be on October 2nd.
So I said next week is October 2nd.
My 10-year anniversary for my diagnosis.
10-year anniversary, cancer, not a death sentence anymore, which I'm very glad of.
Yes.
You wouldn't think it, but she spent the night in the hospital one night, and I never knew it could be so quiet. And it really didn't turn out to be very good. That quiet after 40 years of
Well
noise.
done, right?
Start thinking now.
No, we're still going on
Yeah.
till 58:33. I'm glad you can make it. Let's look
Thank you.
forward to
This
seeing
was
you down here again.
delightful. Delightful.
And we'll talk about some other issues besides cybersecurity. But I had to go there because I'm always scared my little $2 I got in the bank's going to get robbed by some guy who scanned my card at the gas station.
Oh my gosh.
And I can imagine that there's some other people. And when I read that from the other place, 150 million people. And I'm still shocked from Neiman Marcus and Target. It's
Yeah. Michael Stores, PF Chang's, of course. Walmart. You said that already.
Ma assures me
yeah.
that HEB's
Wow.
safe because we go in there and I swipe my card and I look all down the front end there and all them cash registers. Everybody's using a card.
Yeah.
Anyway, with 30 seconds left, I do appreciate y'all coming on.
Thank you.
I really missed Gabriel and Anthony this time. Anthony's really sharp on money, and so is Gabriel. But they all got lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
There'll
he's
be
a
another
teacher.
chance.
There'll be another chance.
And
They all
definitely
have things
check out the Come and Talk It radio show on Talk 1370 AM. Also,
Didn't it come up yet?
comeandtalkit.com.
Uh-oh,
So
10
check us
seconds.
out there. We talk all the thing firearms, everything you want to know about guns.
Last week was
Bitcoins.
good.
And
Affinity
Bitcoin.
24. Check us out.
I'm going to
All
get
right,
my
bye-bye.
Bitcoin.
Affinity 24.
All right, that's it.